Woman was shocked to discover that her son's classmate looked exactly like her daughter who had died 7 years ago. At first, she thought it was just a coincidence. However, the next day when she went to pick up her son from school, she saw the girl again. She immediately took a photo of the girl with her phone. When she got home and compared the girl's photo with her daughter's, she found they looked completely identical. She began to suspect that her daughter hadn't actually died in the hospital but had been stolen instead. To verify her suspicions, she came to observe outside the girl's house and unexpectedly discovered that the house was for sale. She disguised herself as a potential buyer and entered the home. Sarah, unaware of her true intentions, welcomed her warmly. When Lisa saw the walls covered with childhood photos of the girl but noticed there were no pictures from when she was a newborn, she became even more certain that Amy wasn't Sarah's biological daughter. When Sarah discovered that their sons were classmates, she enthusiastically invited Lisa's family over to play the next day. Lisa happily agreed. The following day, while everyone was chatting, Lisa quietly slipped into Amy's room. Looking at Amy's adorable appearance, she couldn't help but brush her hair. Seeing Amy's resemblance to herself in the mirror, she became even more convinced that Amy was her daughter. From that point on, Lisa became obsessed. She had to see Amy every day and even went ice skating with Sarah and Amy together. She took the opportunity to ask about the hospital where Sarah had given birth, only to discover they hadn't delivered at the same hospital. While Sarah was taking a phone call and Amy was putting on her ice skates, Lisa personally took Amy's hand and taught her to skate. She felt a happiness she hadn't experienced in a long time. Unfortunately, because she was so focused on Amy, she accidentally collided with other skaters, and Amy went flying. Sarah immediately ran over in terror to check on Amy's condition. Fortunately, Amy wasn't seriously injured. Lisa kept apologizing to Sarah, but Sarah angrily took Amy and left. Lisa felt extremely guilty about the incident. She went home and swallowed an entire bottle of pills. Ever since her daughter died in the hospital fire 7 years ago, she had suffered from severe depression. Her husband had divorced her because of it, but she insisted she wasn't sick. She could feel that her daughter was still alive. She had thrown away all her medication, convinced that her feelings were correct. However, this time she began to doubt whether she was truly ill. Worried that she might harm Amy, she locked herself in her house. That is, until she heard the news that Amy was moving away. She could no longer control herself. She secretly snuck into Sarah's house and took hair from Amy's brush, planning to get a paternity test done. But Sarah discovered her and immediately grabbed a sharp piece of glass, demanding to know what Lisa was doing. Lisa painfully revealed everything. Since losing her daughter, she had been in tremendous pain. Sarah broke down crying after hearing this. Then she told Lisa the truth. It turned out that it was her own daughter who had died in the hospital fire. Unable to bear the grief of losing her daughter, she had taken Amy, who had been rescued, and raised her as her own daughter. Even her husband and son didn't know about this. She begged Lisa not to take Amy away, saying she couldn't survive without her either. Little did they know, her husband and son had just returned home and overheard everything.